to resign if, and then there's ellipsis following that. Abrogate stalled Sinohydro projects for lack of funds and others. This is Kwame Abuja speaking. And shocking, government blows 53 million Ghana cedis on COVID returnees.
The Chronicle, I have nothing to do with a Japan deal. He said Jabin denies citizen vigilantes allegation at appointments committee. Video of me taking money was a setup. This is Charles Bisu. We are not land guards at Chimibuaka's 2 Land Protection Agency and Boanu's farewell amnesty promotions.
The Daily Statesman, I'm my own man. A special prosecutor says he won't walk in Amidu's shoes. And Kudalo, Dampari will succeed as IGP. GSS, Statistical Service, urges citizens to cooperate with census enumerators, and Ghana faces ban on export of fish.
You know Agro Kings Limited, right? Nana Rice before, no? There's an interesting story on the front page of the New Weekend Crusading Guide. Vice President of AFDB celebrates Agro Kings for excellence in agriculture.
Excellence and competence.
In agriculture.
Molu.
Yes. Kisi Ejabing dazzles at vetting. Appointments Committee unanimously recommends his approval for special prosecutor. Cape Coasters, red-eyed, demand dismissal of MCO for FEET 2024 polls. First private vulcanizing training institute opens in Accra. Samira Baumia Foundation supports 10 schools in Eastern Region, plus some other stories.
The Business and Financial Times, IMF backs Bank of Ghana to keep policy rate tight over inflation scare. And Ghana Commercial Bank, GCB, presents 14 million Ghana cedis dividend to government. Also, medical drones are crucial for fight against COVID-19 in Africa. This is from the Zipline country manager. And AAHHH sign on to Farm Access Safe Care to improve health services. Many other stories in BNFT.
The final paper I have is the Informer. In commemoration of late President Mills' 77th birthday, Atta Mills Institute donates to charity. IGP Dampari, public security analyst, hail appointment and say it signals things will be done right. Sputnik V contract, minister pushed by limiting factors. And there is also something on Kisie Jabin. I qualified to sit on Supreme Court of Ghana.
Citi Newsroom website leads with stop collecting personal details of mobile phone subscribers. Court to NCA. Also, Kisie Jabin can succeed but must tread cautiously. This is Vitus Azim. In other stories, UTAC threatens strike over unfruitful conditions of service negotiations. And suspected robbers kill 36-year-old man and injure another at Tantra Hill. Also, retired head teacher claims about unpaid pension benefits untrue. This is SNIT. Capital Bank collapse atuation to appeal dismissal of his submission of no case. And there's no ban on small-scale mining. Mine responsibly, Miracle Duca tells licensed miners. MyJournalline.com leads with appointments committee recommends Kisie Jabing for special prosecutor by consensus. Also, Education Ministry fights off claims it misapplied 19 million CD allocated to Free SHS Secretariat. And anti-LGBTQ plus bill, corporate sympathizers could face 10-year jail term. Social media reacts. If you go to Star FM, they have a different angle to this shooting. They say Accra, gym instructor shot dead for allegedly dating married woman. That's the lead story. Also, one shot dead as fisher groups clash at Kwu. And I can't stop corruption. I'll make it costly. OSP nominee to parliament. Meanwhile, globally, Tokyo prepares for an Olympics like no other. There is a story I saw in South Africa that I thought was just interesting. You know, they say school feeding scheme pupils face hunger. And this is in South Africa. I thought that was interesting. More than 1 million pupils, most of who get their only meals of the day at school, face hunger in one of the big counties of South Africa. So let's start with the special prosecutor and what came out of his vetting.
Yes, indeed. The Appointments Committee has unanimously endorsed him as our new special prosecutor. His views were sought on so many matters, and he gave us some good punchlines and some good excerpts from his vetting. So he said he's going to introduce a strategy called Pressure for Progress, where there'll be regular risk assessment and systemic reviews of the public sector institutions. He also said he'll help the country to have its own anti-corruption barometer or perception index. He said, I can't stop corruption. I'm not naive to assume that I'm coming to stop corruption. There's no way I can stop it. God himself would not have claimed to that, but I'm going to make corruption very costly. He also said that since he's 43 now and his tenure is 7 years, by his 50th 50th birthday, he wants to leave a solid legacy. And he said he's not going to wear anyone's shoes. Says, I'll wear my own shoes. I'll be my own man with my own principles and standards. I mean, so many great things came out of
And
that.
still on that, he says he has nothing to do with the Japa deal. This is the lead story of the Chronicle. Maxwell Ofori writes that the special prosecutor nominee, Mr. Kisi Ejabin, has distanced himself from the controversial Japa royalties deal. According to him, any form of comment that suggests he was connected to the transaction may be coming from uninformed quarters.
Well, he was unanimously or by consensus approved. And a couple of comments, Vice Azim says he should tread cautiously and that he can succeed. I think he did fantastic yesterday. His views on many things very cogent, and I think it was a great appointment. Let's pray he succeeds.
Yes.
And my favorite answer was when they asked him whether he thought he was old enough to be special prosecutor. I says, dude, the president of France is the same age as I am. I'm a year older than the attorney general. I qualified to be president. What is your problem?
Yeah.
That was such a great answer.
Anyway, Bernard, let me take you to the police issues as well, because the news of Dan Paris appointment
Still
as
getting
acting
positive
IGP.
reviews.
Yes, positive reviews. And there's something about amnesty promotions
Okay.
by the outgoing IGP. It's also in the Chronicle. The story says the police administration has granted amnesty promotions to all personnel who, through their own efforts, studied and acquired degrees which had been submitted for consideration since 2008.
Oh, 13 years.
Yes. Those who fall within this bracket of farewell promotions, effective Wednesday, July 21, 2021, are mainly in the sergeant and inspectorate ranks.
Okay.
This category of personnel entered the service without degrees and diplomas, but through their own efforts enrolled in the universities and polytechnics to acquire higher certificates. A source who spoke to this reporter, however, said because they were not granted study leave by the police administration, their request to regularize their academic qualifications were not attended to.
Charlie.
Yeah.
And it's been 13 years. Well,
Anyway, let's go to the issue in Ejura. Carcass killers remanded again. This is in the Daily Guide. The Asokwa District Court in Kumasi yesterday once again remanded the 3 persons who were arrested in connection with the murder of Ibrahim Mohammed, aka Macho Kaka, a social media activist at Ejura. The trio, and it goes on to name them, one of them believed to be the brother of the deceased, appeared before the court charged with conspiracy and murder. The prosecution told the court that it needed more time to finish its investigation, so the case would be adjourned, and the court was convinced by the appeal made by prosecution. So the suspects were remanded, and they're going to reappear on August the 12th.
there's a big story I'm surprised the newspapers don't have. Stop collecting personal details of court. Okay, I wanted to hear from there because a big story. Huge ruling. The High Court has ordered an NCA to stop collecting the personal information of mobile phone subscribers. Per the orders of the court, the government has 14 days to delete all said data already gathered and report same to the court registrar. Now, a private legal practitioner, Francis Kwating Arthur, took the NCA, Vodafone Ghana, MTN Ghana, and Kelny GVG to court in 2020 over the president's executive instrument on the electronic communication law. The order contained in the EI 63, as argued by the Attorney General, was to enable the president to conduct contact tracing as part of efforts to fight COVID-19. The personal information was to be collected by the telecommunication companies and lodged with a private company, Kelny GVG, for the purpose of the executive instrument. Now, but Justice Rebecca Citi, however, held that the president's directive violates the people's rights to privacy. The court also ordered Vodafone, the NC, and Kelny GVG to pay damages of 20,000 cedis each to the private legal practitioner. The emergency legislation signed by the president on March 24 sought to provide legal backing to a series of steps undertaken by government to deal with the pandemic. Now, and the details are given. But unhappy with the law, Mr. Arthur went to court seeking an order to quash the president's directive because to him the order violated and was violating or was likely to violate his fundamental rights and freedoms. And he sought an injunction to restrain the government and the other people from using the EI to procure this, and the court agreed with him. Fantastic job by this lawyer. And it's a public interest case, and it's a good direction for where I think our jurisprudence is going.
Yesterday, we discussed climate change and the environment. Page 15 of the Ghanaian Times. No ban on small-scale mining. Go and do your work. Duka. Yes. Kingsley Hope is reporting from Kumasi that there is no ban on small-scale mining. You can go and do your work according to...
Unlegal.
Yes.
You got, just qualify. He said
I'm coming. I'm semi-kiny now.
The way it's presented. No?
That's how he started.
Okay.
And he goes on to write that, but if you do it irresponsibly, your license will be revoked, says the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. A dialogue with the members of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners on Thursday, at a dialogue, it came out that Operation HALT, that seeks to remove all persons and logistics involved in mining from water bodies, have been harassing licensed small-scale miners. The Britain Halt members were said to be telling the small-scale miners that we are not here for your licenses and frustrate them from working. But Deputy Sector Minister George Mekuduka says the government's position is that small-scale mining is not banned. What is banned is illegal mining. So from today, if you have your license, go and work, but make sure you are doing so responsibly to protect the environment and water bodies. Now, on Galamsey issues, if you don't mind, Bernard, let me add one more. Video of me taking money was a setup. Charles Bisiu. This is on page 3 of the Chronicle. The former secretary of the Interministerial Committee on Small-Scale Mining, Charles Bisiu, has petitioned the ruling NPP over the NAS video that led to his exit from office. Although details of the petition is not readily available, sources say the petition, among other things, explained the circumstances leading to his being recorded by someone who had sought to compromise his fight against corruption and galamsey.
Now let's talk about fish. Mavis Hawa Kumsen, the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, says that her ministry is poised to combat and eliminate the use of illegal methods for fishing. She said illegal fishing methods, including the use of light, dynamite, and dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane, continues to pose serious health implications to fish consumers and affects the country's fisheries value chain. Now, she said that the EU gave Ghana a yellow card banning fish exports from Ghana into the 28-nation bloc in 2013. Saying that you are not disciplined. That's what the yellow card means. And using illegal methods to fish gives you that status. If you don't stop, you'll be shown the red card and your name will be cancelled for exportation of fish. So she's appealing to fisher folk to desist from those methods, warning that recalcitrant fisher folk who will be caught flouting fisheries law will be prosecuted. This is in the Statesman.
I have awesome news coming from the agric sector, but before that, let me take you to something related to tourism. The Ga Homo Festival 2021 has been launched.
Okay.
And the Korle Klote Municipal Assembly is urging all to participate so that we promote tourism. If you check...
I wanted you to do agric. There are 3 stories in agric I want you to
I'll
do.
give you the agric. If you check the back page of the Ghanaian Times as well, Panafest Foundation has outlined activities for Emancipation Day.
When is it?
The
August
date
something?
is starting from 26th July to August 1, 2021.
Now, there are 3 stories in agric. Let me start with the one that is not good. Then you'll bring the good one later. Poultry farmers await compensation after bird flu outbreak. Bird flu. You see. Now, the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association is optimistic that the compensation will be given to them who lost birds due to the highly pathogenic avian influenza. And this is according to an interview they had with Citi News. Now, the Vet Services Director of Ministry of Food and Agriculture indicates that close to 10,000 birds had been destroyed across 7 poultry farms within the region when the influenza was detected. President of the Association for Greater Accra, Michael Nyakwampim, urged the farmers to cooperate with the ministry to control and eradicate the bird flu disease.
Now, good news. Cocoa, highest production in history attained. Yes, this is really good news. And the story is by Elvis Darko, the Finder editor. And he writes that information available to the Finder indicates that Ghana has produced the highest volume of cocoa beans in history, exceeding over 1 million metric tons with over 10 weeks left until the end of the season.
Wow.
We've so far collected about 10,030,000 metric tons. This is according to the data from Ghana Cocoa Board. Now, in the 2010-2011 season, we collected 10,024,000 metric tons.
1 million, not 10 million.
1 million, sorry. So with 10 weeks left for this season to end, we've crossed that 10.
So 10 years ago was our highest yield.
Yes.
And which we are crossing nicely this year.
Yes.
Did they give any other angles and details to
Well, they talk about cocoa cultivation and irrigation, and it's promising. Farmers in the Western North region involved in the pilot are recording 7,000 kilograms per acre, which is good. There's all year round harvesting, and we're also being told about a $600 million JICA AFDB facility for irrigation. All these contributing.
So the cocoa guys are doing really well.
Yes.
Now, let's come to... Don't forget that, again, to be fair, this is the first time that cocoa has come back to agric. It used to be under finance. So it's good to see that when agric takes charge of cocoa, production increases. But let's deal with another story.
Yes, on rice, the vice president of AFDB is celebrating Agro Kings. He says that after seeing the operations, he's happy that young people are getting involved in agric.
Okay.
He's encouraging more young people to do that. The founder of Agro Kings is 32-year-old Nana Osue Chow, and they produce the Nana Rice brand. And so this is also something.
Okay, there's a very weird story here that I thought you would be interested in. So the City News version says man 36 shot dead by suspected armed robbers, right? And it sort of gives the details of what happened, the facts. But there's another angle on Star which is suggesting other things. So the first story says a 36-year-old man has been shot dead by suspected robbery attack at Tantra Hill in Accra. Stephen Akowa, believed to be a physical instructor, was allegedly shot around 1 a.m. in his apartment on Thursday, July 22nd. The robbery attack also left one person injured after he was allegedly hit on the head by the robbers. So the paper, this angle is they are robbers, right? They got a distress call. But when you go to the Star FM version, they are saying that his gym instructor known as Little shot dead in his room at Tantra Hill on Thursday dawn. Now they now allege a married woman was allegedly with him during the attack, was not harmed by the unknown assailants who were on a motorbike. Now associates of the deceased said they had been warned over the constant visits by the married woman who sometimes slept over at his place, and they give some other details. So the angle of that story suggests that there could be other motives for his shooting, although the angle of our story is from what the police is saying that it looks like a robbery. But the other angle is saying that maybe there was something else. So we'll see how that turns out.
All right, 7 convicted of WASI malpractice. Yeah, 7 persons made up of 3 students, 2 teachers, and 2 administrators have been convicted of impersonation in the 2020 West Africa Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, or WASI, by the Agna Suedru Magistrate Court. One of them got a custodial sentence. The rest of them were fined. Now, it goes on to name them. But what they did was, when the SHS students were writing the WASI, a team of WAEC officials were going around the various SHSs within the area to check the conduct of the examination. And when they were checking from the verification machine some of the credentials of the candidates, they realized that several of them were impersonating students who were supposed to be writing.
So
the
writing
exam
for other people.
For other people. So they caught them, they were arrested. Some ran away, they were at large, but they've been arrested as well. So again, one is going to jail, the others have been fined. Yeah.
Let's go to COVID-19. Ghana Health Service is warning of a third wave. The story is in the Finder. The story says the Ghana Health Service says the threat of a third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana is real. The service said it was due to the increase in cases as well as the detection of the Delta variant in communities.
Well, just speaking of COVID, an Indonesian man has been caught mid-air after disguising himself as a woman to board a domestic flight. Now, he was COVID positive. He disguised himself as his wife to board the plane, so he wore what is called a niqab to board the flight. He was carrying his wife's passport and her negative COVID test result. He may, however, never have been caught if he had not changed into his regular clothes midway through the flight, causing the stewardess to raise an alarm. So they catch him and say, "Hey, Master, you are a man. Calm down."
Anyway, there's a very important story for SMEs. The application for the 145 million Ghana Cedi SME grant has been extended.
All right.
This is the Ghana Enterprises Agency. It's been extended to August 11. So those who have not applied.
Let's look at the editorials this morning.
All right, in the Daily Graphic, let fiscal consolidation restore debt credibility quickly. So they're talking about the fact that we are in a high debt distress country, and we should be watchful.
The budget is coming.
The budget is coming.
Yeah.
Also in the Statesman, new IGP must justify the confidence reposed in him. I think
a good
there's
one.
a lot of high expectation for IGP Dampare. And in the Daily Guide, costly mental health ignorance. Mental health is ignored to the detriment of our well-being as a people. So they're urging us to pay more close attention to that. And then finally, in the BNFT, from me, high cost of testing could stall economic recovery, talking about COVID-19 testing and the cost associated with it. And also, technology benefits can bridge health infrastructure gaps.
The printers have stolen the editorial of the Finder. The page is blank. But the Ghanaian Times welcome acting IGP, prisons DG, and the expectation is high for them. The Chronicle, COP Dampare's overwhelming endorsement. They're also talking about Dampare and the changes they expect him to bring to
All
the
right, thank you,
police
Kojo. Thank you, Koki. That was a newspaper review. Coming up next is the City Business News.
This is the City Breakfast.